Good afternoon. Right, just before I do my normal intro to everything, let's go through the MRC TOR round 3 Spa. Really need a PC. I just want another monitor for chat and stuff. That's what I want. Need to get crowdfunding this stuff. Right, share link. Got it. Right, streams updated. Think we're good on that front. Let me just get the link out to a few places and people and things. So it will be Mature Racing Club. So we're live for the ProAm lobby. Paste. I'm so technologically inept. It's actually embarrassing how bad I am at I'm like a proper old man now. Let's get over to CRT. Pretty hot on getting me all approved and in, so that's good. So there we go. That's that job done. We should get some viewers in the near future. I'm just going to load up the website as well, so I can look at points. I will be doing that probably a little bit later on, though. I'll be brutally honest. I know Smoker likes to do it early on, but I'm not that sort of dude. Boy, out morning. I don't know where you are, Darren. Rick to continue. How are we doing, geezer? Welcome along, welcome along. So you join me from Stavelot region in Belgium. Actually, I'm in my living room in England, but virtually we're in Stavelot in Belgium. From the rolling countryside here in Belgium is Spa Francorchamps, 19 corners, 4 miles of pristine Belgian tarmac, and a 50-minute endurance race here in the Team Oliver Racing GT3 League, run by Mature Racing Club. In association with Team Oliver Racing and Martin Oliver Transport. We've got a cracker for you tonight, ladies and gents. One of my personal favourite tracks, Spa Francorchamps. Of course, if you are an F1 fan, you'll know this track, but it's just a great track to drive GT cars on. It's fast, it's flowing. You've got Sector 2, which is nice and twisty. So your MR cars get a little bit of juice around there, but I'll be honest, there seems to be a little bit of a theme evolving here in the league, where even in the Pro League, the MR cars, so your Audis, your Hondas, your McLarens, seem to be really OP, really powerful. Ghost Rider, Evening, Infinity Decals, whoop 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 whoop. You're in the bathroom, mate. Is that why it's morning? Like, are your bathroom visits do they transcend you to a different time of day? Mate, I've got a cuppa now. I have a cup of tea with every stream. It's somewhat a tradition. But yeah, I do enjoy a good cup of tea, mate. It's a British thing, isn't it? In it. And I see Quinn's made a change to his livery for this week. A nice big smashing CJW logo on the back of that Jag. Go on, lads. Yeah, so got an absolute corker. 50 minutes around here in GT3 machinery. The drivers will, as you may remember from the Nürburgring race we did for round 1, this is the second endurance race format. So this always spoils going to be a master. Oh, look at Phil G had to be alert to that. Drink tea like a fish, bro. So it's not just a British thing then. Interesting. What sort of, Rick, I'm genuinely interested, mate. Like, what sort of tea do you have? Do you have like what we would call proper tea, like PG Tips and Yorkshire tea and stuff like that, or do you have Twinings and hotel tea? You know what I mean? And how much, mate? Like, we could go on. What biscuits do you have with it? Do you put the milk in first? These are all questions that that need to be answered. I've lost my train of thought because you lot keep talking about tea. Fuck's sake. Anyway, got qualifying in a moment. That's 10 minutes long. So around Spa, which is about 2 minutes 20 a lap, there or thereabouts. Probably a little bit quicker if you're on the ball. I know some guys have been getting 2:15s in the pro lobby. 2:16s is probably going to be a pretty decent time. Short run. Oh, okay, yeah, it's hobnobs. Yeah, definitely hobnobs. The what did Peter Kay call him? Like the soldier of the biscuit world. I like dipping. I'm dodgy here. I like dipping milk chocolate cookies in tea. Yeah, I can get on board with bourbons as well. Definitely that. I think scones are a little bit. Won't the integrity of the scone be severely affected by the hotness of the tea? You know, if ever any sponsors stumble across my videos and I'm just chatting about anyway, never mind. Right, so qualifying is upon us. So what the point I was making with the lap times, we listened to a V12. Oh, it's 15 minutes. My apologies. I thought 10 for some reason. Yeah, I mean, my point's kind of nulled and void now because of Cutler's damning announcement. But with 2 minutes 20 on a lap, it doesn't always give you that much time to have much of a qualifying strategy other than push lap, pit, push lap. That's what most people would have done. 15 minutes probably gives you a little bit more scope to just to get a banker in and take it a little bit more steady. So who've we got in the room? We've got Lucky Bucky. He's driving the Mercedes. We've got Britzberger in the Aston Martin. We've got D-Dot in the Corvette. We've got Sean in the McLaren. He's had a great season. Then we've got Duco. Did I say that? Did I say that right, Duco? Or do I revert back to what I was saying at Blue Moon? Let me know in the comments. Duco, for those of you that were on the social medias, I put out a little interesting stat that of the 3 races so far, we've only had one person that's been continually on the podium for all those 3 races, and that's that man. He's been standing on one of the 3 steps of the podium for every single race so far. So let's see if we can repeat that in Spa. We've got Diablo, the man from down under. It's like 7 AM where he is now, so we will definitely be having a cuppa. We've got Phil G, the unluckiest man so far. He had an absolute shocker last time out at Blue Moon. I'm not going to go into it because it'll make me upset. I just hope he has a better time of things. Rob Scott in the Chevys had a very good got a very good season under his belt so far. So has Roving Island. Both of them had very good one. Cutler, a race winner from last week, won the sprint race. He's in the Mercedes. He'll be looking for a good result from this one, aka the tyre whisperer. Got Quint in the new updated livery in the Jag. He's out. Some people's strategies are coming under play already. Sonic Racer also in the Jag. He had a great race in race 2 as well. He was one of my shouts to driver of the day. And Quinn, P13 for Quinn at the minute. It's just out that man. Slow Seamus. Not really seen too much of Seamus, but he's out here in the Audi, the only driver to run the Audi. Right, so we've got a load of cars in the pits, so that tells me that these cars that are all in the pits or have been in the pits will be starting their race on the medium compound tyre, which is probably the preferred strategy. Gonna cheer for my mate Obion. No, that's good, mate Rick. That's absolutely fine, dude. No worries, my man. Right, yeah, so a load of people have been in to change tyres. Britzberger was one of them. Lucky Bucky, I think, was another. So I'd expect these guys... No, Lucky Bucky, yeah, Lucky Bucky was. So I'd expect these guys down. They have to go around and do another outlap, so this lap for them really won't count. So they do need to be getting out of people's way. But they'll be starting the race on the medium compound tyre. The driver, I think there's another way around that. I think with it being manual qualifying, the drivers can set the time, and as long as they get out of the lobbies, change the tyres and then come back in again, they should be okay. So drivers like Sean, your Ducos, these guys can set the times, pop out of the lobby, make the sort of setup changes to the car they feel necessary and come back out. And it should still be okay, but we all know how GT Sport is with its private lobby systems at the minute. Well, hello there, Martin. Oh God, I've dropped an announcement on Facebook about Gran Turismo Touring Car Championship today. Now my inbox is absolutely blowing up, so I might just have to mute notifications for a little bit. God knows what it's going to be like when I drop the main one tomorrow. Right, so first lap time's about to hit the board then. The first person to set said lap time is going to be Sean in the McLaren. Let's see what the McLaren can do. Provisional pole 2:16.6, very good time actually. Duco's picked up a little bit of a penalty, so a 2:17.3 for him. Diablo goes second with a 2:17.0. Phil G immediately leaps to the top of the leaderboard by half a second with a 2:16.1. He was very fast in practice as well, so Phil might well stay up there, but we have got a lot of big hitters ready to set lap times. Rob Scott set a 2:19.2. So either an issue on his lap or the Chevrolet really not liking Spa. We have got Cutler as well in the Mercedes. He set a 17.0, so not a bad lap from Cutler at all. Who else have we got out on laps? We've got Gwyn, who's set a 19.3. Hopefully getting a little bit more used to his wheel and pedals now. Roving Islands, just trying to get out of people's way, I think. And then we've got drivers like Lucky Bucky, D4TC Britzberger. These guys are now on their flying laps. They have managed to burn a little bit of fuel away and should be pretty quick. Quinn in the Mercedes is about. He's going to be the next driver to set a time, and Slow Seamus still on his outlap, so he's running out of time, nearly halfway through qualifying already, and he's not set a time yet. So your provisional pole set by half a second, Phil G. I will take this slight break in action. Always Sean gets it all drifty. Slight break in action to just announce and I guess promote the We Are Driven Foundation. I signposted it last week during the Blue Moon Bay races. You will see the logos on some of the cars. You can see it on the side of Phil's there. I think some of them have been able to get them put on, or get the guys that make the liveries indeed to put them on for them. A lot of these guys get other people to make the liveries because they're either lazy or uncreative. I am definitely the latter. But yeah, the TOR League has partnered and will be supporting the We Are Driven Foundation from here on in. So that is raising awareness to charities and causes that are close to our heart. This time it's Archie's journey. It's a young boy who is needing some special treatment for cancer. He's needing to raise money for a trip to America to get that sorted. So we are obviously always holding Archie and anyone suffering from any sort of disease, illness or ailment in our thoughts. And of course we will use the power of community to get behind these things as and when we can, I guess. Right, so Cutler doesn't improve that time round. A lot of cars coming in for their expected pit stops. And I would just expect the times to start getting faster. I say this every single qualifying time, but these guys will just be churning through the fuel. A lot of cars are already nearing the half a tank mark. Now that is 30-40 kilos of weight immediately taken out of the car, and you can go a lot faster with that. Let's have a look at the timing board. Anything going off? Nothing dramatic yet. There's going to be a lot of outlaps happening for the time being, and the drivers just probably on in laps now, to be fair. Just while we get to the end of this session, and then we'll see what these guys have got on their sleeve. I think Phil G's 16.1 is going to be a good time. It's going to keep him up there. You won't go much faster than that. But if we get into the 15s, I'll be very impressed. I've seen the pros do it. We are in the Pro-Am lobby. This is meant to be the slower drivers, but we do find that these guys are still pretty fast. Evening, Johnny. I am all good, my friend. All good in the hood. I was looking forward to this 50 minutes at Spa, one of my favourite tracks, as I may or may not have said before. I do really like Spa, driving it and commentating it. It produces good racing pretty much every time we go here. The only problem you really ever have at Spa is that you can have a bit of a lull where drivers are spaced out. Slow Seamus goes 10th with an 18.8. In the race, of course, with it being the endurance format, the drivers have been given, the teams, have been given one set of the soft compound tyre, one set of the medium compound tyre, and one set of the hard compound tyre for the race. In the qualifying, they can use as many sets of whatever tyre they want. There are no restrictions in the qualifying, but the second the lights go out, you only have 3 sets of tyre to use. So Phil G's gap at the top has been severely cut by Duco. Over 16.2. He's just a 10th off the top time now. Really impressing me at the minute is Duco. So let's see what he can do. I'd struggle full stop. I like it. I love it. I've even got a for Christmas. Was it Christmas? I want to say it was Christmas. Might have even been earlier than that. God knows, I'm completely losing track. But I was bought a Spa Francorchamps track art that I actually need to get put up on the wall. It's just sat on my rig thing. It has been for a while. But yeah, I'm going to get that Bathurst and Silverstone. That'll be the plan. Right, quick check of the timing board again because I'm neglecting my commentary duties here. Let's have a quick run through the order then, with 4 minutes to go. So Phil G tops the table in terms of qualifying at the minute, 16.1 for him. Then we've got Ace Killer Duco, 16.2 for him, just a 10th off that time. Sean in the McLaren, 16.6, half a second off pole position time, but out on another lap. Britzberger has snuck in the Aston Martin for 16.7. That absolute powerhouse of a car. We'll have to see what gets on in the race. We've got Cutler in the Mercedes. He's been in and changed tyres, so his time doesn't show, but it's 9/10 shy of pole position. Then we've got Diablo in the Mustang, 17.0 for Diablo. Rob Scott on a 17.1. He's P7. Lucky Bucky in the Mercedes, 17.2 for him. P8 in the Mercedes at the minute, and the number 9 Sonic Racer in the first of our Jaguar cars. We've got 2 in the league this time round. He's on a 17.4. Slow Seamus, the one and only Audi driver. Can't miss him in the gold Irish theme car there. In P10, 17.5 for Slow Seamus. And then we've got Gwyn, second of our 2 Jaguars with an 18.4. We've got D-Dot in the Corvette, 19.0 for D-Dot, but he's on another lap. Roving Island in the NSX, improving on his lap time. Actually, he's in 13th for the minute. And Quinn has set a time, but I think he's just come in to do that tyre change with Poe, so he'll actually jump up probably to 12th and knock D-Dot down a spot when he does do so. So does Phil G improve on his 16.1? Oh, he does. He gets in the 15 to 15.7. Right, I bow down to your superiority. My God. 15.7. He would wring the neck of that car during that lap. Can Duco do any better? Can Sean do any better? They've got enough time to get another couple of laps in, so you never know. They could shed more weight, but Sean's going to absolutely make a new line at the top of Arusa. That's Radion actually. So I'm waiting for the comment. Just waiting for one of you lot to say it. Nice, you got the Nürburgring. I thought about the Nürburgring one, mate. I thought it a bit. I'll be honest. I thought it'd be a bit cliche. That's all. And plus, I'm not a huge Nords fan. I like it, but I'm not someone who drives it at every single available opportunity. Is he using his new gear though? Because he told me that he wasn't plugging it all in tonight. He was going to wait. I think everyone's doing the Fanatec upgrade at the minute. Right, so what could happen then at the end of qualifying? Well, this man has shifted a ton of fuel from his car. He's got nice fresh tyres on board, and he will get around in time. I think, yeah, he will get around in time to set another lap just. He needs to negotiate what he's doing with Cutler though. Cutler, is it Cutler? Oh yeah, I think Cutler has actually just got out of his way. No, it's not Cutler. It's not even Cutler that's out in front of him. Who is it? It's a very similar looking car. Oh, it's Quinn. Yeah, so Quinn's on an out lap, so he's going to be flying next lap as well. I think Duco just needs to create a bit of room, probably back off him a little bit. It looks like he's doing. He's gone into the bus stop very slow just to get himself set up for another lap. Phil G's also on another lap just behind them as well, so if Duco does beat his time, Phil G will have opportunity to do it again, and he goes even faster, 15.6. Absolute ridiculous pace. Yeah, he's gone in to change tyres, so he'll be back in a moment. I think a few drivers are doing that now. D-Dot, does he get around to improve? Got a lot of drivers about to set lap times. Gwyn could be improving his lap time in the Jag. He set a personal best set to 1, on track to set a personal best set to 2. He doesn't improve, that's his 218.5, so just missed out on leapfrogging. He's a second shy of the other Jag though. But P8 at Spa, I mean, one of the questions is, do you want pole at Spa? Because you're only going to be towing everyone down the Kemmel Straight anyway if you get a good launch, so there's debates about that 50-minute race. Sean is setting a better lap time, so Sean is up set to 1. Set to 2 is where all the time is won and lost here at Francorchamps though. Oh, we're going to have a 5-minute break, so in that 5-minute break I'll go through the tables. Cheers, Cutler. Cheers, my lad. This could be good news for Phil G. Is that Duco's getting held up here now by the other Mercedes of Quinn. Now Quinn, of course, is perfectly within his right to do his lap. He doesn't have to get out of the way or anything like that. He's yeah, he's perfectly entitled to be there. But argument, as you can see, Duco is hurrying to get past. I'm gonna Duco, mate. I'm gonna get your name wrong loads. Just accept it, mate. To be fair, yeah, he's had to abandon his lap. So it looks like Phil G is gonna get pole then, unless Sean can do anything about it. What's his split time here for second to 2? He's down. He's lost 2 temps. Rob Scott, is he on another lap? He is. Can he improve on the 17.1? He is up a little bit, but he's got to have a mighty set to 3 to improve on that time. Did Quinn improve after all that? Let's have a look. Oh, he's picked up a little bit of a penalty, so doesn't look like Quinn's going to improve. No, he doesn't. He's going to be down on his time. D-Dot in 11th then, parked up at the side of the track as well. Robin Island in 12th, unless, no he can't. Diablo 13th and Gwyn 14th. So drivers now just going in to change tyres. Ghost, I'm just going off what he said in group chat, Ghost Rider, that's all. Because he sent that picture in, didn't he? And I think he's still using Logitech stuff for now, but because if he's got a load cell he'll have to get used to that, and that does take a little bit of time. Right, anyway, I'm just going to ignore chat for a moment and we will go through the points. Okay, so your tables then, heading into round 3 at Spa. At the top of the leaderboard is Duco. He's got 67 points then. In P2 on 58 points is Rob Scott. P3 is Buddy. I've not seen him in the lobby tonight. I think he was having issues with his new gear as well. He drives a Mustang normally. 52 points for Buddy. Cutler then, after his win last time out, puts him in good stead in the table. He's 4th with 48 points. Not far behind him though, having a good start to the season so far, is Sean. Sean currently holds P5 in the championship, 45 points to his name. Just 1 point behind him though is Britsberger in the Aston Martin, 44 points to Britsberger's name. And then we've got Lucky Bucky in the Mercedes on 38 points. Roving Island in the NSX, 34 points for Roving Island. Diablo, 28 points for Diablo in the Mustang. And Phil G rounded out your top 10 after a very unlucky start to the season, 27 points in 10th. Then let's have a look at the bottom half. There's only a few drivers here. We've got D-Dot, 11th at the minute, 24 points for D-Dot. Sonic Racer in the Jag, 17 points. In the other Jag is Gwyn, he's also on 17 points. The Jags are matching each other point by point so far. Slow Seamus is not, I don't think he scored any points. Yeah, he has. 14 points for Slow Seamus, and then Quinn is on 10 points in 15th and last place so far. So that's your points then. Let me just reconnect to chat. There we go, we're back. So Spa Francorchamps. We will jump on board for a lap with someone during the race. We'll just wait for the initial chaos to calm down first. And then we will jump on board, and I'll give you sort of like a driver's eye perspective of Spa. I'll try and do it relatively early on as well, so you get a bit of an idea. Sonic Racer, you need to get out of the pits, mate, otherwise your time ain't counting. Or are you? No, you're not at the bottom anyway. You should be like 10th, surely. Sonic Racer, mate, you need to be out of the pits, dude. Or you ain't getting up there. So Sonic Racer wants to start on the hards by the looks of things. Most drivers will choose the mediums. I would imagine most drivers will choose the mediums. A couple may want to go onto the softs. For me, I think starting on the softs is a bit of a risk, because the likelihood is you're going to spend the first half of the race battling anyway, so what's the point in burning a set of really fast tyres? You might as well get rid of the mediums or the hards right at the start of the race. But let's see what the drivers are about to do. We're 5 seconds away from starting the race here at Spa. 50 minutes of this iconic circuit lay ahead. Gosh, my bloody notifications are going ballistic. Okay, so it's a short run down to La Source, couple of 100 metres, so a good start here may stand you in good stead for getting past, but you do want that slipstream up the Camel Straight then. We're waiting for the lights to go out here at Spa Francorchamps. They get away, everyone seems to get away nicely. Sean bogs down a little bit in the McLaren, that's going to allow Cutler through. So Sean then shuffled down to 6th initially, might be able to just stick it up the inside. Phil G keeps P1 ahead of Duco. Cutler then up to 3rd. Sean up to, well, back into 4th necessarily, so he has lost a position, but it's not as bad as it could have been. We did see Sonic Racer and Roving Island get it wrong going down into the source, but as they go through Rouge and Marion for the first time of asking, it is Phil ahead of Duco, Cutler, Sean, Britsberger, Lucky Bucky, Rob Scott. Slow Seamus up to P8 already, battling away with Diablo. Then we've got D-Dot battling away with the Jag of Gwyn. It's Duco and Phil though duking it out at the end of the Camel Straight. And I've preemptively just clicked as Sean has to take to the escape road. I've preemptively clicked the replay button. We might go and have a look back at some of that action because there was so much going on, it was very hard to cover it all. But it is Duco ahead of Phil G, who is ahead of Cutler. Britsberger in 4th, little bit of a gap now to Rob Scott in 5th, just ahead of Sean. Sean's getting attacked then by the Mustang of Diablo. But down into Dave Corner, it looks like Sean is able just to stretch, just to keep his advantage. Then we've got Gwyn in the Jag holding 9th ahead of D-Dot. D-Dot's not had a bad start at all, he's up to all, but he's off into... Oh, D-Dot, oh my mate, what are you doing? I spoke too soon then, didn't I? Really, I keep cursing the poor kid. Sean's down to 7th then after that little escape off at the end of the Camel Straight. Let's jump on board and have a look. So he was getting a little bit of overspeed then, as he did go for that move into P3. He just got late on the brakes, he just had to take avoiding action. So Sean credit to him being very sensible on his rejoin of the track and not coming on right in front of any other car, but that does demote him down a couple of spots. But that McLaren does come to life in the race. As we're going side by side through Blanchimont, then Rob Scott and Diablo. Well, Diablo's not hanging about at all. Sean's also looking to get involved in this. He's also trying to defend ahead of Gwyn and Lucky Bucket. Gwyn in the Jag. Does he go for the move, or did he just get a little bit lost under braking? I think it was the latter. Lucky Bucket not able to sneak past Gwyn, and the Mercedes then gets quite a good exit out of the bus stop chicane. We'll be looking for a move on Lucky Bucket into the early stages of the race. Let me just turn play names off because they do get on my nerves. Seamus down to 11th. Roving Ireland has caught back up to the pack then with Sonic Racer and D-Dot now down in 14th. D-Dot's got some work to do in this race, but it is Duco leading away. He's got a second over Phil G. Again, I would fully expect the what we call the MR cars, the cars that have got the engine behind the driver. Those cars tend to look after the tyres a little bit better, so probably expect that to come into play in the race, but we'll just see. I mean, yeah, we've got people like Cutler in the lobby, for God's sake. As Cutler and Britsberger start going to war, then down at the end of the Camel Straight, let's jump on board with Britsberger actually and have another quick little look at what happened there. The Aston Martin right at the end of its red range then. Topping out 160 mile an hour as we start braking. Cutler got his braking a little bit late, that's why it looked like they were fighting when they actually weren't. Diablo has won out of that little battle between him, Rob Scott and Sean. Sean still battling away in 7th. Is he at a tyre disadvantage? No, he's got the medium, so he should be on a better tyre than the cars around him. Rob Scott, who's just out onto the AstroTurf. There is no grip out there for Rob. He's got to go out to the escape road and just go the long way, basically. Loses you quite a lot of time going out there because you've got dirty tyres for the next few corners as well. Lucky to report there's no damage that I can see for any of the cars so far. Everyone seems to have got away from the first couple of laps pretty much damage free. Everyone predictably on the hard tyre, on the medium tyre, except for Quinn. Quinn is out on the soft, so he'll be noticeably quicker than the cars around him. He's got to make this count early on. Which Rob Scott's on the hards. Slow Seamus on the mediums. Yeah, most drivers on the mediums. Got Sonic Racer out on the hards as well. But only one car opting to take the I'd say the slower strategy is taking the softs at the start, to be brutally honest. Cutler's still battling away with Britsberger, although we know probably the reason behind that is Cutler will be fuel and tyre saving. I'm not sure what Britsberger's doing, although to be brutally honest with Britsberger, he does tend to do quite a good job of that himself anyway. Sean, 6th place then for Sean. Have we lost a driver? Or is a driver been? It was Rob Scott. Rob Scott must have got something wrong somewhere. Oh, it's just coming out of the bus stop. It sounds like he's kind of really bogged down, and yeah, he's down to 10th now, but he is on the hard tyre, so he's kind of expected to just fall back in the opening stages of the races, but the race will come to him later on. Meanwhile, at the top of the tree, Duco pulling out a gap now to Phil G, another half a second gained in the last lap. Phil, though, is gaining time hand over fist over Cutler, who's battling away with Britsberger. So these two, they either need to settle the differences now or work together. Because it's early stages in a 50-minute race, and if they battle for too long, they'll just fall out of the pit window from the cars ahead. They need to be in undercut territory, really, and they're just not there at the minute. Diablo starting to pull away now from the guys behind him. We're fighting. Pleased to say Sean, after making up that position this lap, he's now starting to pull away from the cars behind. That McLaren, this is where that will start to sing now. It will just start to look after its tyres nicely, it can save its fuel, and Sean can just nurse that car through its slower stint, and it will come to life on the soft tyres, I am sure about that. We've got Gwyn now defending away to Lucky Bucky in the Mercedes. The Jag a little bit of a boat. Fully approve of the big smash CJW decal all over the back of that wing. Do appreciate that. So yeah, Gwyn and Lucky Bucky battling it out for that 7th position. Just behind them is Quinn in 9th, with Rob Scott now in 10th, Roving Ireland 11th. Slow Seamus with the fluorescent pink and gold accents. He has picked up a little bit of damage actually, so he's got, I want to say that's this lap, that's definitely this lap that's happened. Whether it's recent I couldn't tell you. No, it happened a while ago. Sonic Race has also fallen way back. Sorry, I'm going to go back up because all sorts of mad stuff was happening up here. 1 minute, what was that? No, my eyes deceived me, I thought there was a big battle. Sonic Racer, yeah, he's on the hards. Lap 2 was 3 minutes 18 seconds, so he's had a... He's pitted. He must have got damage. Because it doesn't look like he was on the hards before, wasn't he? And he's not changed his tyres. So he's abiding by the rules there. The drivers, of course, must complete 3 laps on each tyre at a bare minimum. So those using the hards would normally bin them off almost immediately, but they have to do 3 laps. So that will mess up a few teams' strategies. So the strategists will have known full well that rule changes could have come into effect and may well have planned for that. Probably why we're seeing so many cars out on mediums, because that gives them a bit more of an option going into the latter parts of the race. If you start on the mediums, your typical plan is you stretch the medium set out quite a while. It's quite a durable tyre, it's not that much slower than the soft, it's probably worth about a second a lap. But if everyone else is on it, it doesn't really matter, and you stretch that tyre out as long as you can. You sort of forecast it, so you probably want to take the hards next. In an ideal world, you take the hards in your second stint while you're lighter on your fuel as well. You do your sort of minimum time on hards if that's the way you want to play it, and then you finish strong on a set of softs. A set of softs, depending on the driver, can still last quite a few laps, so it's not the end of the world really. Reports in the chat of the softs only really lasting, their one makes no difference, about 6 laps, which isn't that long to be fair, so we'll have to see how that goes. Meanwhile, we have got Sean now putting all the pressure in the world on Diablo. Is there a tyre difference between the two? No, there isn't. They're both on the same compound of tyres. Sean's done a better job of saving fuel as well than the man from down under. Diablo also gets it wrong coming into the bus stop chicane. Goes a little bit deep. That affects his line going into the second part of the bus stop and then his exit. Sean might just play this cute and sit behind the Mustang here. Backs out of that move. But Diablo just really struggling on this set of tyres. Sean could have genuinely gone for the overtake there. I do think he's saving the move for the end of the Camel Straight. You can see how he's got that McLaren tucked under the wing. He'll lift off here. Yeah, he does that. That gives him a gap to get the slipstream then going down the Camel Straight. So the magical suck zone is well and truly in, although the Mustang is just pulling away. Look at that car just pull away. It's 162 miles an hour it maxes out. I think, yeah, 163 before it gets on the brakes. And it actually pulls a gap to Sean coming down the Camel Straight, even though Sean has the slipstream. The contra to that is Sean's car should be ridiculous in Sector 2, which is pretty much now onwards, really. So we'll see how that evolves for Sean. He'll want to try and get a move done here then. If the Mustang is as OP versus the McLaren in a straight line than it is, this is the sort of part of the track where Sean will need to think about making that move, because this is where he will be faster. So coming through Pooh on them, you can see the Mustang just doesn't seem to ever settle down. Sean's actually having to back off here. Sean's car's nice and stable. The Mustang just doesn't ever really seem to want to park. He actually backs out of the move there, does Diablo, lets Sean go. Doesn't want to hold Sean up. That's either strategic or just very good sportsmanship. And knowing Diablo, it could be either of the two. So let's have a little bit of an update of the guys from the top then. Duco's still got that 1.5 second gap to fill. That hasn't changed in the last 2 laps. So there's management going on between these two. Tyres and fuel is what's on the agenda to manage today. So Duco will just want to manage that gap. Won't want to give the slipstream to the Honda behind, but also isn't that fussed about going flat out and dropping him. Slower lap there for Duco, an 18.2, a full second slower than he went before. So Phil then knocking in his fastest lap of the race so far, a 17.5. We know he's got 15s in his pocket if he really wants to pull her out. What's happened to Cutler? I've missed it. Where's Cutler gone? He's in 11th. He's on an outlap, he's pitted. Right, so he must have got damage, and I'm sorry if I missed that. We've got Gwyn also in the pits with front and rear damage, so he's had a bit of an off somewhere. He's taking the opportunity to change his tyres, so we'll see what he decides to do with that. Yeah, sorry, I was probably too busy covering the Sean thing. In other news, Phil is actually taking time out of Duco now. That has released that Cutler incident though has released Sean now to try and chase Britsberger down. It's a 7-second gap. Britsberger is lapping at decent times in the Aston Martin ahead, so I wouldn't imagine Sean will be right on his chuff anytime soon, but Sean's now got free air. Lucky Bucky then up to 6. He's doing a very good job as well in the Mercedes. We've got Quinn out in 7th, also 10 seconds ahead of Roving Island. Roving Island, of course, had a terrible start to the race, but has just started to regroup a little bit now. That last lap was quite slow. He's got a little bit of damage. I'm missing damage being picked up. So Seamus has still got damage as well, but I think he's been nursing that for a while. Cutler obviously pitted, whether that's not strategic because he's not changed tyres. So that pit stop for Cutler, that was damage, and apologies we missed that. I wish I had like a proper rewind function here. If anyone can let me know what happened, that would be great. Rob Scott has pitted for tyres. He's on mediums now. Of course, you remember he took the hards early on, so this will be quite a long stint for Rob. He'll want to take these mediums so he's comfortable ragging the absolute nuts off the soft. Gwyn is now out on the softs. He pitted to fix damage a moment ago. Sonic Racer, 13th in the Jag. He's now out on the hards. No, he's been on the hards ever since. Yeah, he has. And D-Dot. D to the Dot. Streams on Facebook. Go check him out. He's a good bloke. Go and have a look. D.90 on Facebook. He's not enjoying this season so far in the Corvette. But he's kept plugging at it, and do you know what I mean? If even if you don't like a car or a combination or a particular race, the fact that you still put the time and effort into dealing with it and still go through the process, I admire that greatly. Right, so in terms of what's going on, I mean, Diablo's still keeping Sean relatively close. Lucky Bucky's actually reeling in the guys ahead, so that gap now 2.2 seconds of closing. Not on the straight, of course, because the Mustang's a beast, but the Mercedes can probably carry a little bit more apex speed than the Mustang can, so Lucky Bucky now just starting to reel in the Mustang ahead a little bit more. Yeah, it's just a strategic game of chess now. We're 15 minutes into the race, 35 minutes remain. Yeah, anything could happen. If you're here looking for the Pro Lobby and you're wondering that you don't recognise any of these names, that's because the Pro Lobby is streamed over on YouTube by Dark Smoker. Go check him out, as he would say. Tell your mates, tell your mum, all that sort of stuff. That's his catchphrase, not mine. So the Aston Martin then, burning through a lot more fuel than the cars around it. Don't think I've got another Aston Martin to compare it to, but he's down at 25 kilos of fuel, whereas a lot of other cars are still looking at 30 kilos of fuel plus. So Britsberger then, that will cost him a little bit more time in the pit stop. So just if you're wondering what the significance of the fuel consumption is, the more fuel you burn, the more fuel you have to put back into the car to make the same race distance. That takes more time in the pits. That's pretty much all it is. I think it's about 7 litres a second, something like that, is the refuel sort of time. So yeah, there or thereabouts. It costs you a couple of seconds in the pits if you're not very good at fuel saving. And unless you're offsetting that with your lap times, you could be in trouble strategically. Britsberger v Sean, in terms of that battle, not really going anywhere. Britsberger is maintaining, if not growing, that gap to Sean, but Sean has got a lot more fuel on board his car than Britsberger has. We've got Quinn in the pits now. This is a strategic stop. He's getting rid of his softs now. So Quinn, of course, was the driver that went out on softs to start with. I think the only driver to do so. So Duco 1.5 second gap to Phil, as has been the way throughout the entire race. 5 seconds ahead, Ritzberger. Similar lap times between the top three. Starts to taper off as you hit Sean. Sean's doing the 19s, but he's saving more fuel, so again, you're offsetting that. Still not dropping Diablo really in the Mustang. Then you got Lucky Bucky in the Mercedes, doing a good job. Lucky Bucky is really starting to reel in Diablo. In the last lap he took half a second out of him, pulling away from Roving Island, who's still carrying that front aero damage. So the front aero damage on these cars will just affect predominantly the turning of the car and the responsivity of it under braking and acceleration. We've got a position change between Rob Scott and Slow Seamus. Oh no, it was Rob Scott and Cutler. So Cutler's trying to battle his way back through the pack then. Manages to get that move made on Rob Scott in the Chevrolet. So Cutler now back up to 9th position. He'll just want to rescue what he can from this race now. Sonic Racer and D-Dot still going, which is again exceptionally admirable to see, because they've had a bit of a terrible start to it. When do the triggers start getting pulled on pit stops then? We're probably approaching that time, ladies and gentlemen. 20 minutes is probably the ideal window for a set of mediums, because your 3 laps on your hards, if that's what you're going to do, that's about 6-7 minutes. And that leaves you a decent sort of chunk of time to get your soft tyres in and warmed up and managed. So yeah, Britsberger in then, 10 litres of fuel on board that car, so we had enough to go for another one if he wanted to. I think Duco and Phil at this point are still on the 20%, 20 litres range. Sean probably just a little bit more, still running quarter of a tank is Sean at the minute, so he's doing a great job. Same sort of for Diablo, maybe a little bit less on board his car. So that's where this sort of stuff's going to start playing out. So when they do come out the pits, you'll see some of these gaps that you used to seeing at like 1.6, 1.7 seconds will probably grow or shrink. Duco's had a mistake somewhere, and Phil G is catching him very fast. Can we see what that mistake was? No, it must have happened early on the lap. These guys may opt to pit at the end of this lap then. Phil is starting to really reel in the Mercedes ahead. Now in slipstream range, of course, so that can help him with a little bit of fuel saving. Phil might not necessarily be that bothered about making this overtake happen right about now, so all he can really sit and do is sit behind the Mercedes, which is punching a great big hole in the air for the Honda to drive in. That means he doesn't have to use as much engine power to get to top speed, therefore he uses less fuel. Still running good lap times as well. Oh, he just goes a little bit on the edge of the AstroTurf, and that's going to slow him down. Shouldn't drop him out of the slipstream though. I'm just having a quick flick through just to see if I can spot anything obvious that may be going on. Let's see if these two pit then. Lap number 9. They may choose to carry it on. They do indeed. I was wondering if Phil might try the undercut. They've got enough fuel on board to carry on for a 10th lap, so that's exactly what they're doing. Does Sean pit this lap? I'd estimate he doesn't. I'd think he'd carry on. Yeah, he does. He'd probably just match what the top two do. Yeah, so Lucky Bucky then into the pit. So he had used a little bit more fuel than the guys had. Comes in with 6 litres. We'll see what tyres he decides to go on to. And of course, another thing these guys might have had to been looking at, the teams of strategists might have just been looking at the gaps that you come out in. As you saw in qualifying, running in dirty air has its advantages and disadvantages, and you don't want to come out in slower traffic when you're on fresh tyres. So that might just be what's fueling this decision for these guys, just to carry on really. And they are still pulling net time ahead of the cars behind them, so all is not lost at the minute. We've now got Cutler in for his scheduled stop. half a tank of fuel. I don't know if he added fuel when he came in last time. He might have done. He might have added some fuel when he came in last time, but this is his scheduled stop now. So it looks like lap 10's when all the action's going to happen then, ladies and gents, in terms of pit stops. I did say I'd take you on board a lap, didn't I? I'll do it when these pit stops have chilled out a little bit and we know what everyone's doing. I love the view from the back of the Mercedes, you can't see a damn thing. Right, yeah, these guys have really got a pit now. You can hear Phil then just lift off. He's doing that it's just to save fuel. Like I say, he's not bothered about this overtake. He doesn't need to make it. So he will quite happily sit behind that Mercedes, and yet they both do come into the pits. Duco knocks over one of them and absolutely slams into the wall as well. So yeah, minimal fuel for these. I'd imagine Sean will peel into the pits as well this time around. So will Diablo, and yeah, so the good news is for these guys is they shouldn't come out in any traffic at all. It should be pretty much plain sailing for these guys now. Sean doing the best job of fuel saving out of everyone. He comes in with 7 litres of fuel, so that means he'll spend a little bit less time in the pits than everybody else. And over a 50-minute race, if you can fuel save to a decent amount, that matters. As you see Britsberger now trying to get past Roving Island. Britsberger had pitted just a moment ago. Roving Island does indeed let him by. Roving Island will be pitting this lap. So yeah, he actually just... Oh, is he letting him go? No. Yeah, I thought he was letting Rob Scott go then, but he's not. Right, so we have got mixed strategies going on up ahead. So we have Phil out on a set of hards, Duco out on a set of softs. This overtake for Duco should be relatively easy. The tyre advantage he's got is ginormous now. Phil also put a little bit less fuel in than Duco did, but this race could be decided by what Phil does with his hards. Of course, the minimum amount of time he has to spend on those is 3 laps. Everyone's got to do the same. Duco's got to now get his foot down and bugger off. He needs to make this soft count because he's got the slowest tyre to come yet. Oh, Diablo gets it all wrong coming out the end of the Kemmel straight. Manages to re-enter, but I think kind of has to let Britsberger go then. Of course, on the hard tyre, first time he's come up to the Kemmel straight lightly on a hard compound tyre. He's got an Aston Martin breathing down his neck. And yeah, just didn't really seem to have the grip that the other cars did. So Britsberger then back up into P3. Now Britsberger out now on the hard tyres, some fresh motion lotion on board that car. Sean, hard tyres. He's gone for a lot of fuel, which I wasn't. Again, now this is me being a little bit pedantic here, but if you're not planning on doing a long stint, there's no point fueling up for a long stint. You're just adding weight to the car. So I'm not sure what Sean's plan is with that, because that has bought him under the ascensions of Rob Scott, who's on his medium stint. So yeah, not really sure what's going on with that. Right, let's jump on board race leader Duco for a lap of Spa-Francorchamps. So down into turn 1 then, La Source hairpin, breaking it down there about 100 metres. You really need to roll the car into the apex there. Duco goes in a little bit fast, but tidies it up on the exit. You can run all the way out to that yellow sausage curb on the exit without too much penalty. Down the old main straight, then down towards Eau Rouge and Radion, flat in the GT3 car, and then over the top of this is where Anton Hubert's crash was tragically. Down the Kemmel straight, the main suck zone here of the circuit, and down into the first big braking zone of the lap, braking right where the curb starts on the left hand side. Try and carry your speed as much as you can through this series of corners. The more momentum the better here really. Braking down into the second hairpin. You just want to roll the car around this corner. You're off throttle a frustrating amount of time. Then you get back onto the throttle, a little squirt, then down towards no name. Just try and avoid the bump on the entrance to the corner there and down towards Piron. You're looking for the light board on the right hand side. That's your indication. Start braking, start turning the car in. Don't run the car out too wide on the right hand side. That AstroTurf is grippy and sorry, not very grippy, and it'll send you off. And down into a very long and windy chicane. Again, into third, you just need to crest the car. It tightens up dramatically on the exit here, and as you come down towards Stavolo, braking where the curb starts, roll the car in again. Plenty of curb. You can run the curb on the exit as well. It's quite kind to you. And then you want to take this next part of the corner flat, and then down the back straight towards Blanchimont. Another famous corner. Again, flat in a GT3 car. You want to give yourself the maximum entry here, so you run two wheels off the circuit, aim to just clip the corner on the way in, down towards bus stop. Then you need to now start thinking about your braking zone. Look for the 150 metre board, count to one, then brake after it. Down into first gear, through the bus stop chicane, little squirt of power, set yourself up for the start finish straight, and that's a lap of Spa-Francorchamps. A 16.1, fastest lap of the race so far, and we saw a couple of mistakes in there as well, so that's a good lap in race pace for Duco. And he now pulls out a 5-second gap over the NSX driven by Phil, but Phil's probably not worrying too much right now, as he has that soft tyre yet to come. Britsberger 18 seconds back in the Aston Martin. Again, hard tyres for Britsberger. Diablo on the hards as well. He's in P4 in the Mustang. Rob Scott 5th on the mediums, with Sean in the McLaren on the hards. Again, I have to question the full tank of fuel, but at the very least he's not going to have to spend as much time in the pits for his next stop, so you know, it's not the end of the world, it's just a little bit confusing. Lucky Bucky out on the hards in the Mercedes. He's a little bit out of the action at the minute. He's got a 5-second gap ahead and a 14-second gap behind, similar to Quinn. Quinn's got a 14-second gap ahead and a 4-second gap behind to slow Seamus in the Audi, but Quinn doing a good job so far. Slow Seamus then in the Audi. What's he? He's just done his fastest lap of the race, an 18.1. Very good car, the Audi. Just jumping on board with Slow Seamus. He's got a 10-second lead over Cutler behind him. And if he's doing 18s, they're not bad times at all. Cutler then, he's on the hards doing 20s, so yeah, Seamus will be dropping Cutler. But Cutler has got those grippy softs to come yet, so the race should come to Cutler later on. Roving Island in the Honda, 11th for Roving Island, but he's on the hard compound. Sonic Racer 12th in the Jag. We think he had an incident early on, so that kind of put him out of contention, but he's still going round. Gwyn in 13th. I also think Gwyn, basically 12th, 13th, 14th, we think have all had accidents. We know D.Dot had one because we were on board when it happened. D.Dot on the hards doing 20s again. You can't be mad at that. It's not a bad time at all. 20 minutes to go then here at Spa. Duco gets in the 15s in race pace. He is nailing that car then. He's doing quali laps on those soft tyres. 15.7 in race trim. That was similar to the quali time, wasn't it? So yeah, very impressive lap time there from the Mercedes driver. He, of course, has the hard compound yet to take. So he needs to pull this gap over Phil, because Phil's going to be fast towards the end of the race. When is Phil has done his 3 laps on the hards now, so he's served his time. It's kind of up to him as to how long he stays out on them though, obviously. The strategist would have picked out an ideal scenario. It just has to map as to whether it's going that way in the race. You don't want to go onto the softs too early, because if you absolutely kill them, you run a lot of risk of breaking of locking a brake, or getting a corner wrong, or making a mistake owing to tyre wear. We shall see how that evolves throughout the race. Gaps between most of the cars then. Again, as with Nürburgring, we're kind of just waiting really, as we see Slow Seamus now pull up to the back of Quinn. Jump on board the Audi actually and just see if we can catch this overtake. Yeah, as we often see with these races, you have this period in the middle where people are just playing out their strategy. They're just doing kind of the game plan that they need to do, and that doesn't always necessarily invoke a lot of fighting. By that point you've got a lot of gaps anyway. Then at the end of the race, when it all closes up again, oh, Quinn just makes a little bit of a mistake there. That's going to prompt Slow Seamus into making a move. He's not going to dive the Audi down the inside, though he thinks better of it. The Audi in theory should be better than the Mercedes around this part of the track. Seamus is also on the soft tyres, which are a little bit grippier. Will he go for the move down towards ProAm? He might have to back out of it. No, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't go for it in the end. Quinn keeps his position. Slow Seamus trying to go around the outside. Oh, he makes it. He makes it up, and that's a good move by Slow Seamus in the Audi. Round the outside, as Eminem would say. Those trailer park girls go round the outside, and Seamus then just outbrakes the Mercedes and just carried a lot more speed. He's just able to do that with tyres, so a good move then by the Irishman, gets him up to P8 on the road. So we've got Rob Scott in the pits then. I think he's got the softs to take now. I'm pretty sure he has got the softs to take now. Most drivers will now be going on to the softs, other than Duco. Who took them early on? Quinn took them early on, didn't he? Duco Seamus is on them now. All drivers other than 2 have yet to take the soft tyres. One of those 2 drivers is leading your race right now and is absolutely flying. He's got a 9.6 second gap ahead of Phil G. Looks like these pit stops will be happening pretty soon as well. We're down to under 25 litres of fuel on board these cars. So we will see the second round of stops. End of lap 15, end of lap 16 at the worst. Again, I'd imagine Sean will probably just mirror those. We'll see. So, just for reference, Phil G in the NSX is doing 18s on the hard tyres. So mid-18s is your sort of target lap time for a hard tyre. Sean, and I think purely because he's carrying extra weight, has been dipping into the 20s and 21s. Because I know Sean's massively improved over the past few seasons in terms of his pace. He could have easily done consistent 20s or maybe even 19s on hard tyres on lower fuel. I'm confident. That means though Phil G is a very, very capable dude. So if anyone's going to get the most out of a set of tyres, it's probably going to be him. And those guys now carry on as that gap extends between the top 2 cars to 10 seconds now. Of course, this is all going to play back into Phil's hands in the latter stages of the race. Although the question remains is he giving himself enough time on the softs? He's only going to, 14 minutes now. By the time he gets around again, it's going to be 12 minutes till the end of the race. That's 5-6 laps. Is he just going to literally go for quali laps on the soft tyre? Because if so, if you can do it 18s on a set of hards, he's not going to catch Duco back up. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, my brain's going mathematical overload right now, but I think that if Duco extends this gap to 12 seconds, it might be game over for Phil with the time remaining. We'll see. Of course we will see, but I will look at that and go, not sure. I think Phil might have left it a lap late. If it had come in this lap, yeah, he might have been a little bit slow on the softs at the end, but I still think a set of worn softs are faster than a set of fresh hards. even though he's doing very, very, very fast times on them. We've got a very, very, very fast Mercedes driver in the room, and yeah, he'll extend these softs as fast as he can. So we might not expect Duco back in this time round. Whatever that delta in your top left hand corner, sorry, is going up, there's absolutely no need for him to pit. If he's got enough fuel on board, he might choose to go around and do another lap on those tyres. In fact, that's exactly what he does. You might as well. 17s, yeah. So he's doing faster times on those. Whereas Phil now does pit. So yeah, 12.5 minutes remain. Let's see how far that gap is when he comes out then. Lucky Bucky out on the hards. We have had a sea of cars in now on the soft, so that does promote slow Seamus up to 4th, but Seamus does have to come in and take the slower tyre soon. Doesn't have to do it yet, but before the end of the race, obviously. A little bit of pressure between Britsburg, Quinn, Sean, Rob Scott. There's quite a lot of action going off. We've got Diablo involved in this as well. I've cut away from that unfairly then. Quinn's getting swamped now by cars that have pitted. One of them is Sean in the McLaren. We've got Rob Scott out there as well in the Chevrolet, and Diablo in the Mustang. So Quinn has lost a handful of places in just one lap. Right, so yeah, all these drivers now, so Dab, Rob and Sean, all now out on the soft compounder tyre and going to the end of the race. So this little race here between these three cars, it's genuine. This is going to carry on. Slow Seamus is still due to pit from 3rd, and Duco's still due to pit. So that gap is 52 seconds now between Duco and Phil. Duco will pit this lap. I don't know. I mean, the gap's still going to be there between the two of them. What can Phil do on the softs? He's got to have a very, very, very good last stint. I know he's capable of it because I've seen the guy race, for God's sake. But I don't want to tear away from this little battle for too much. Oh, Sean gets it a little bit wrong then coming out of the first chicane. Diablo is all over him. Sean's had an issue somewhere. He was running. Did he just get swamped? Yeah, he just got absolutely swamped by the power cars. This is going to be Sean's issue now, and again, it could possibly be attributed to the fact that he took on too, because he took on. I still think he took on too much fuel at last stop. Because this is a fight he didn't want to be in, because in the parts of the track where he's faster, he's going to struggle to overtake these two guys, and they will just waltz away in a straight line. So race leader in the pits. The Mercedes crew are going to get a fresh set of tyres on board that car. They are going to be the hard compound, the slower compounder tyre, and enough fuel to take him to the end of the race. Yeah, he's gone. We won't get an update on that Delta split just yet. It will take a little while to update. Drivers have to, oh, it has updated already, 11 seconds. I thought the drivers had to go through timing sectors for that to update, but apparently not. Right, so Duco is coming round to lap cars now. So he puts a lap on a Jaguar. He's on the hard gap to him and Phil. Lap 18, 14 seconds. We're going to be keeping an eye on this little one. One Camel straight separates the two of them. We've got Britsburger, 3rd position for Britsburger, sprinting to the end now, just done his fastest lap of the race as well. We've not spoken about Britsburger all that much. Absolutely munched the fuel in the first stint, but his pace has been brilliant. So the Aston Martin driver then, 7 seconds ahead of Rob Scott in the Chevrolet, just set his fastest lap of the race. And if these two keep quibbling like they have been doing, Britsburger might be home and dry for that P3 position. As we see Diablo go for that move, and the Mustang driver gets that move made now, they'll be full of confidence on these soft compounded tyres. Sean 1.5 seconds behind them in the McLaren. It should do a better job of holding its tyres, in fairness, the McLaren. But yeah, it's going to be a bit of a question as to whether he can do anything about the cars ahead, because yeah, they're squabbling. Look at how much time Sean has reeled back on these guys in this sector alone. He's pulled nearly a second on them just in what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 corners. And granted, that might be partially down to a Rob Scott mistake as well. But you can just see how much more apex speed as he gets a little leap on. See how much more apex speed he can really carry through these corners, but he's going to struggle in the digital car culture car to get round the Chevrolet. Because by the time he gets to a big braking zone, the Chevrolet's pulled a couple of attempts on him because of that awesome V8 motor. Lucky Bucky in the Mercedes, kind of on his own at the minute, then in 7th. Big gaps either side of him. Slow Seamus now pitted onto the hard tyre. Is he going to get caught by Cutler, who's out on the softs? My odds on that is he probably will. 5 second gap isn't a lot when you've got such a massive tyre difference. We shall see. Quinn then on the hards, he's in 10th, good gap between each car as well. Roving Island's Sonic Race is starting to evolve their own little fight now between the Honda and the Jag. D-Dot up a position into 13th from Quinn. Looks like he's having a bit of a race to forget, unfortunately, out on the hard tyres and carrying damage as well. Gap between P1 and P2 now 11 seconds, 6 minutes remain. It's looking like it's going to be a big gap. Phil G, though, to be fair to him, a 15.799 last time round, 0.003 of a second off the best time set in the entire session so far. So he's doing the pace, he's going as fast as he needs to go. Sorry, going as fast as he can, I guess is the right phrasing. But it's whether he's got enough laps left to catch the Mercedes up ahead. The Mercedes last, in fact we haven't got an update on his time yet. So we'll see what sort of time the Mercedes sets when he gets around to the end of this lap. It's not going to be anywhere near 15. But in short, Duco needs to be aiming at 18th. Basically. That's what his aim needs to be. Meanwhile in the Diablo, Rob Scott and Sean battle, Diablo's still winning out on that one. Sean probably still sat there secretly quite frustrated in the cockpit of that McLaren because he gets dropped and then he just pulls it all back again. It's like a yo-yo race for these guys. An 18.0 that time round for Sean, whereas Diablo that time round did a 17.6. So yeah, the Mustang's just got tower of power. If they of course do start to burn through the tyres more, which I'd expect they will, that might give Sean a little bit of an opportunity. But the McLaren's just outclassed in the straight line. With a good double slipstream here though, he might... Is he in a position at the... He's not going to be in a position at the end of the bus stop chicane to do anything about this. He's not close enough. What Sean needs to be doing now really is making the cars ahead think. At the minute Rob Scott's got the impossible task, which is attacking and defending at the same time. It might explain why he's been making a couple of errors. Yeah, he's got an awful lot of work to do because he wants to attack the car ahead, but he's also got to be conscious that he's got a very fast McLaren breathing down his neck as well. Doesn't want to be giving that car the time of day. Meanwhile, we'll go back to the battle between Slow Seamus and Cutler. Cutler has well and truly caught him up now. Oh, and there's been an incident. There has been an incident. We've got an Audi off the circuit. We need to go back and have a look at what caused that. Let's have a look. Crayon Racing. So little dabs of contact there. Oh no, Seamus just gets on the grass. Yeah, it was a self-inflicted one, I'm afraid, that one. So Seamus took an Audi R8 off-roading, which is never recommended to do, and now he's at threat of getting caught by Quinn in the other Mercedes. gap between Phil and Duco, 5.7 seconds. And Duco's last lap was 19.4. So yeah, the Mercedes not as good on its hard tyres as the Honda was. This lap needs to really be in the 18s for Duco. 2 more laps. It's going to be very close. I mean, I've no doubt Phil will get an awful lot closer. Yeah, 19.0. I've no doubt Phil will get an awful lot closer. As Phil, last lap round, actually set a new fastest lap, 15.5. I think he's going to get close, 4.7 seconds. Don't forget, when Phil gets within a certain range, he'll start picking up a little bit of extra slipstream from Mercedes. But it's then getting past him, so this has got to be the mightiest of laps. In terms of time difference, the time difference in terms of lap time at the minute is about 3 and a bit seconds per lap. So in theory, by the time we hit this part of the lap next time, this time next lap, which is going to be the final lap, Phil will be well in slipstream range, if not battling with the Mercedes. So he may be making me eat my words where I was saying he was staying out too long. It may have been a stroke of genius to give him the fresh soft tyres towards the end, but we will see. The battle between Diablo and Rob Scott still battling on. Sean then. Sean's is he getting slipstream here? No, he's not, I don't think. No, and you can just see how much he's getting dropped. We can see the little battle going on between the Mustang and the Corvette. It's the Battle of the Americas up there. Oh, Rob goes very deep. Again, that's an inviting sight for Sean to see. Is Sean going to try and launch one down the inside? Rob Scott goes defensive. Sean thought about it for a second then, but had to back out of the move. Gap between the top two, 2.1 seconds. It's going to be close, ladies and gents. It's going to be very close. You've got 46 seconds remaining though. Not everyone's going to get round to set another lap. The top two definitely will. So the top two are definitely going to get a 20-second lap in, and that might be music to Phil's ears. We'll just flick through the field in a moment and sort of leave these two to their own devices. I'll come back to them in just a moment. So starting lap number 22 then. The gap is 1.3 seconds between them. Britsberger, does he get round to finish this lap? I've got a gut feeling no, he's not. He's going to the time's going to run out before he gets there. So Britsberger is going to bring home third. Exceptional race for the Aston Martin driver. He fueled for that extra lap. Turns out he probably didn't need it. So that's Britsberger's race done. P3 for Britsberger. Diablo is going to get 4th, I think. Oh, is he going to go deep though? It's going to be a drag race to the line for 4th, 5th and 6th. Sean's just going to get cut out with this. It's Diablo, Rob Scott, then Sean. Great race between those two guys, those guys at the end. Lucky Bucky then is going to come home to grab 7th. Lucky Bucky, you did what he needed to do, nice and consistent. I think he just executed his game plan really well. Quick flick back to these guys. They're still close, but no cigar. Cutler made a mistake early on, but kept his head down and came back to finish in 8th. So he at least rescued some points from this one, albeit not the result he was probably wanting. Slow Seamus, after sending that Audi off-road, kept it ahead of the other Mercedes of Quinn. Looks like he's going to come home to take 9th position then in the Audi. Does sound good, that car, in real life as well. Quinn, 10th place for Quinn then. Or is it? Is he going to get caught by Sonic Racer? Oh, he's picked up a penalty. Sonic Racer's going to get him. Is he? By 200ths of a second. Roving Island 12th and D.Dot 13th. Quinn's finished in 14th. I just want to come back to these guys then, as these guys now will come round to finish their final lap. The gap, 1.5 seconds. So yeah, close but no cigar, I'm afraid, here for Phil. Duco comes around to take his second win. Has he won a race already? I think he has. Yeah, so the man with the most podium finishes of them all. Duco takes P1. Phil, finally, to be fair, Phil gets a good result. He's had a bit of a torrid start as Mr. Phil G, and it's really good actually to see him take a step on the podium. But all grats to Duco for taking the win here at Francorchamps. And I have probably got your name wrong, and if that's the case, I apologise. But hey, you know, what do you want me to do about it? So let me save the replay, because I'll need a thumbnail for the YouTubers. What a race! Yep, that's D-Dot sign that he's had enough and he wants to go and do something else. I'll give D-Dot credit, he sticks at it, you know what I mean? Sorry to the guys that didn't get much coverage in this one, there were just quite a few interesting battles going off elsewhere. So yeah, well done to your podium finishers. Let's give them a congrats in the chat. So Phil, Rob Scott saying to Sean and Dabler, what a race! Indeed, that was a cracker. That little battle you guys were having was an absolute corker. I caught a lot of it on stream. I couldn't stay with it all because there was a lot else going on, but it looked really close. Is probably the word. I think Sean might just kick himself, you know, and I'd be very interested to hear his thoughts on why he put so much fuel into Stint 2. I might just be being a pedantic idiot, but I see these things and I question them. Right, so it was an incident between D-Dot and Sonic Racer at the start that we missed. And that's what happened at La Source. So that'll be why D-Dot's race didn't go exactly to plan. Anyone in chat? No. You've all been quiet in chat tonight. What's going off? It's not like it. Normally chat's popping on a Wednesday night. Anyway, so I'm coming to the part where I wrap the stream up now. So just to let you know that at 9 AM tomorrow morning, there'll be details coming out about the next season of the Gran Turismo Touring Car Championship. That'll all be announced. Tracks, rules, all that sort of stuff's coming out at 9 o'clock in the morning. So tune in for that. Next week at in fact, let me just jump onto the website. I think I've still got the website up. Where are we at next week? It's got to be on the website somewhere. Track list. There we go. Round 4. Oh yeah, we're at Tokyo in the rain, so I've got one of the races in the rain next week at Tokyo. Yeah, so that's gonna be entertaining. So expect lots of slidey fun next week. From Tokyo. Join in from 8:30 on next Wednesday for that from the ProAm League. If you're here looking for the pro commentary or you've liked this race and you just want to see more, there was a race that happened in the pro lobby and you can go and check that one out over on Dark Smoker's YouTube channel. While you're on your Facebook, please go and have a look at the We Are Driven Facebook page. We like members on there just purely to help us raise awareness of charities and things close to our heart. MRC and Team Oliver Racing League is run now under that banner, and we do support that actively. The Gran Turismo Touring Car Championship will be doing the exact same thing. So yeah, that's it for another week from the Team Oliver Racing GT3 League. Don't forget to go and check out Team Oliver Racing. They're kind enough to put the name behind the league and sponsor it. Their racing will of course be getting underway, I'd imagine, in the summer. Myself and a couple of the other lads are hoping to get to some of the races as well, because we're not too far away from Donington Park, so hopefully we'll be getting down to see some big trucks in action. So if you want to come down and see that, you can do. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, ladies and gents. It's been an absolute pleasure as always, and hopefully I will catch you all in the next one. Until that time, see you later.